Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we are. We are live. So yeah, this is a bit of a weird one. Ross isn't here tonight, so it's just going to be me, Socko, and Liam. Lads, how we keeping? How we getting on?
Yeah, all
Great.
good, all good. How are you?
Great.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah, straight back into it. Yeah, a bit of a weird one. This, to be honest with you, because usually Ross is the one dictating everything, so I don't really know what to be saying. But I'm going to do the intro, do the best of my best that I can do. So yeah, obviously,
Big night for you, Griff. Big night.
Big night, yeah, big club.
Jeez.
Jeez, serious shoes to fill. Yeah, a lot of
Right,
pressure
you
on me.
put work in.
BBC,
You put in the work in the
BBC
training
be
ground.
watching this now.
Impressive
BBC
lads,
be
yeah.
watching this. About to hire me, like.
Dan Walker be quaking in his boots.
Yeah, Talksport on the phone. But yeah, guys, as always, if you can, like target today, 60 likes. I'm not even sure what we got on the last one, to be honest, lads. So yeah, probably, I don't think it was like 50 or 60. I think we did kind of well, but we were kind of building ourselves back up to 100. Because we were at like 80 at one point, and then we kind of dropped a little bit there and been slacking the last few weeks a bit. So yeah, if we can build that back up, that would be absolutely great. And as always, please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Most of you have subscribed, but if you don't, yeah, please feel free to go ahead and do that. And of course, this was an absolute, this was brilliant last night. Now you can drop a super chat, which is a small donation to us. We promise we won't spend it wisely. It'll be going straight on points. Now we've got a few people supporting us. The last stream that we did on the weekend or for the Bows game against Rovers, that was brilliant. Got a good few people donating, which is really, really appreciated. And yeah, all your support is very, very thanked by all of us. So, lads, pretty crazy week of football. In the League of Ireland. Obviously, we get into the Dublin Derby and stuff later. A lot of good games that were happening. There was 2 match days, obviously 10 games to go through. But the first order of business we got to get on to is Derry City. Declan Devine, who we actually had on the channel, sacked, relieved from his duties after only 5 games in charge. Bit of a trigger happy sacking in my opinion, to be honest, even though it was pretty early in the season. Seemed a bit harsh. Obviously, Derry not with the greatest of starts. Not done a single point in the first few games, but yeah, what do you think about that, lads?
Pretty, like putting aside the chat, like he was very kind to me and Ross a few weeks ago, but like putting that aside, 1 win, 2 draws and 4 losses, 7 games in, or it was 6 games in when he was sacked. Pretty premature, in my opinion. Like, it's a 36 game season, plenty of time to turn things around. Like, they're only 1 win off at the moment. They're only 3 points off fifth place. Like, and we know in this league, form can change in an instant. Teams can drop down. Teams like kind of, I don't know, Fern Harps draw had a kind of 4th and 5th. You'd expect to maybe not be there by the end of the season. Saw Derry last year. They started really, really strongly and then kind of struggled after post lockdown. But yeah, my initial feeling be pretty harsh, pretty premature. I don't know, Liam, what do you think?
Yeah, because like at the start of the season, we all had Derry up the top of the table, really. So it's a bit of a strange one, their form. And Declan is kind of a manager that obviously has a project there. He did have a project there. A bit of a harsh sacking, but then again, football is always kind of, it's all about wins really and points and getting results at the end of the day. And then obviously the new man's came in and got a pretty much an immediate effect, which you can kind of see does happen in clubs. They kind of get a bounce, kind of new confidence, kind of and stuff like that. But yeah, overall for me, it was very, very, very harsh sacking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'd be inclined to agree with you both, to be honest, lads. I did see a lot of Derry fans on Twitter saying that they would have understood it more if it was at the end of last season or towards the back end of last season, obviously when they went on a bit of poor run of form, or even at the start of the season before it even started. But it seemed a bit weird that you're going to give them 5 games in charge. I know obviously the start was far from ideal, like obviously 0 points from 5 games, and it may actually serve them better in the long term that they've actually hired someone else. Obviously Rory Higgins coming in and getting 4 points from his first 2 games, like especially that getting that draw against Dundalk. Like, I mean, to be fair, they were absolutely gifted a goal again by a Bibby coming out and punching. I don't know what the situation there is, to be honest, but yeah, they got obviously getting a point there, and then going off the back of that and going over to Sligo, who've been one of the teams in form in the league, like one of the better teams this season, like, and getting 3 points, absolutely massive. So, but I found that a bit of a weird appointment, to be honest with you. I mean, only previous experience really for Higgins was I think he was chief scout with Ireland, wasn't he? And yeah, it's a bit of a mad appointment. What do you think of that? Like,
I think that day he was announced, that morning, like, all I heard on the news was Stephen Kenny's lost another member of his backroom team, and I thought, oh Jesus, like, who's next, for fuck's sake? But yeah, he was under Kenny for a good while. I think his previous history with the club, he was there. He's very familiar with the club, and obviously Stephen Kenny's time there, he would have gave him advice about it, and I think Stephen Kenny had a lot of kind words to say and wished him sad to see him go, but wished him the best of luck. So yeah, Griff, I probably agree with you there, like, with the fans as well. Like, you could see if you could kind of accept if he was sacked pre-season, or at least like the halfway point of the season, but I think six games is really, really, really harsh, in my opinion. When we chatted to him, he was so enthusiastic about, like, the pre-season was going really well. They obviously signed, like, the likes of Joe Hodge was probably the main signing. On loan from City, David Parkhouse, Danny Lafferty as well coming back. And like, everyone goes through a rough patch, but yeah, 60 only time will tell. Like, and like, if Rory Higgins goes on a great run now, it'll kind of say, oh, maybe the board did the right thing. But if the opposite happens, like, you might have been saying, Declan Devine should have been given another while. Yeah, pretty harsh, in my opinion. Like, the second, only six games in, and two clubs have lost their managers.
I know, yeah. And then there was a thing about Waterford as well, where Kevin Sheedy had to come out and be like, no, I'm not gone yet. Like,
so there's a command to that, yeah.
Like, just to jump in on this Rory Higgins, when I first heard of it, I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of the Filippo appointment, because only he really did summer camp, so I was a bit worried. But obviously he's doing well. He's got 2 good results against 2 decent sides, so hopefully he can kind of bounce back and take Derry back up to where they really do belong, was just the top end of the table, really. So
playing European football 2 years ago, like, so.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was surprised. Like, I think we were all very surprised. Like, there was a few, because Derry fans were saying, like, to us, they were like, yeah, you have Derry up very high there. We don't expect big things. But I personally thought, like, they wouldn't anyway. Jeez, I don't think anyone's expected them to start off dead last in the league, really. Like, so it was interesting that, like, after 5 games, they have 0 points. Like, because I genuinely thought the signings they made, re-signing crucial players back onto the team as well, I thought they did pretty good business overall. Like, so yeah, a bit of a weird one that they started off so badly. Like, yeah. Definitely
feel for Declan as well, because he didn't even get to, like, play Joe Hodge, who probably would have been very instrumental in the way he kind of wanted to play football and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I do feel for Declan in that sense. Yeah,
no, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how they get on the next few weeks. Obviously, from one manager talking now to another manager, or potential managers. There's been a few potential names being thrown around. You have David Healy, just for the Dundalk job. David Healy, obviously top goal scorer for Northern Ireland. And then there was another name as well, Gerard Little. He was a former Cliftonville manager. And he was actually Northern Irish under-17 and under-19 manager at the moment, but that was cancelled because of COVID when they were meant to be playing in the Euro qualifiers. And then there's another few weird names which I've seen. So first off, we have Steve Keane, who apparently applied the job. Now, this was reported by Live at Oriel. This got sent into our group chat literally only like half an hour ago, so just threw this in here. But I'll give you my memory of Steve Keane is when they were playing, when I went over this age ago, I went to go over to see Arsenal versus Blackburn. And Blackburn started the season real well. I think they were in 8th place. Sam Allardyce was the manager, and then Steve Keane took over. And I remember Arsenal went over and we beat them 7-1, I think. 7-1. And everyone I remember was calling for his head. Like, and he was like one of the worst managers in Premier League history. And like, the fans absolutely hated him. And then I think next season after that, they finished just above the relegation zone after he took over when they were in 8th. And they went straight down like the next season. Like, so that would be a bit of a weird appointment, lads. What would you think of that?
I'm just gonna see where his last job was. He's currently with Melbourne Victory.
That was a mad one. Like, that's a mad one. Like, going from Australia, Australia and coming back to Dundalk, like, stay with the good weather, surely, like.
Where was he? Assistant coach at Blackburn, then 2 years at Blackburn? I don't even know. Griff, you go to your country's Brunei?
Brunei, yeah, it's like tiny little country, like in the middle
Brunei,
of Asia.
Yeah, he was 4 years in Brunei.
To be fair, like a serious experience, like.
Just to jump in there on you, he's saying, I've just looked it up here. It says Melbourne Victory named Steve Keane as interim manager, ESPN, 7 days ago.
Interesting.
Why is he applying to the job then? Like, that's what I don't understand. If this news actually true and he's applying to the job, he's literally got down off the airport, packed his bags, or like settled down. And he's probably want to go back to Dundalk. Like, I don't know. I'd be very surprised now. The second one which we have now, this is a bit one closer to home. Robbie Keane. I've seen a few bits on Twitter now. I have people saying that he could be potentially in for a Dundalk job. That would be a very interesting one. What would you make of that?
He'd be making absolute bank with getting the Dundalk job and still getting a few bob off the FAI. But yeah, I suppose at the moment they're still, well, like for months and months they've been trying to find a role for Robbie Keane at the FAI. Like I can't remember the figure off the top of my head, but he's being paid like X amount every month. I think it was the last contract like John Delaney signed, the succession plan when he was under Mick. And obviously, when Kenny came on board, he didn't want Robbie Keane, but that'd be a bit of a mad one. Obviously, we saw. Who texted me? Sorry. He was on the backroom staff for Rovers. But was it the preseason friendly they had?
Yeah,
he
was on the bench. So yeah,
I think that was just like a consultant role or something. No, I don't think he was even a coach. Like. I don't know what he was doing there. Yeah, I think he was just like doing it to pass the time, really. Like,
I think it's kind of for marketing purposes to kind of get his name out, that he'd kind of be interested in a role, and obviously he's now linked with Dundalk, which is a bit closer. Like, it's only down the road, really, up the road even from him. It would be good to get him off the books of Irish setup, really. And if he's kind of wants to go into management, why not take the role and then kind of see where he goes? Like, because obviously, if he wants to be a manager, he's going to have to build up his name from scratch, kind of build up his reputation. And yeah, Dundalk, why not? If I was a Dundalk fan, though, I probably wouldn't be too happy about it. But
the thing about Dundalk, though, is like I wouldn't put it past them, because think about their last appointment, like Filippo. I mean, the guy had summer camps, like, you know, they're an American owner, and I think they, like, even if you look at the signings that they made, like, they were signing players from like the Faroe Islands and Latvia, and like they're not afraid to, like, I think it would be like a decent PR stunt for them as much as anything.
Yeah, sure. Like Robbie Keane's experience with LA Galaxy might kind of tie in well to the American owners.
Yeah,
he's a lot of American friends himself. Robbie, good, great comment from Killian McCarville there. If you want to bring it up,
have a look now. Yeah,
friend of the show.
Get the job on technicality. Give it Keane over the 8th season. Yeah, no, I think it would be a funny appointment, to be fair. I'd love to see him in a management role. I'm not sure how he'd be like, though, to be honest with you, like, because
I missed. Go on.
I don't know. He'd be a bit mad, I think. Like, I've seen, like, in the coaching, because when he was coaching for Ireland and stuff, and then I think he got let go. I think it's a big step up. I don't think he has a whole lot of coaching experience as such. Like, and then going into like Dundalk, which would be a pretty big challenge for him. I feel like Dundalk are like obviously one of the biggest teams in the country, and they're not like, you know, doing all too great at the moment. So it would be a big challenge for him if he was to go for it. Like,
I missed last week's show. You probably covered it just briefly. Did you all think that Filippo and Keegan being sacked was a bit premature, or was it to be expected?
I didn't know. To be fair, I remember, because when we went to go play football and we were coming back, I remember I was like, oh, he'll be gone within the next few weeks, and then literally like a few hours later he was gone. Like, I thought it was a bit like, yeah, premature. Like, I think it was never gonna end well, though. Like, the whole coaching badges fiasco, like, it just looked, and even when you went to the match, that's when you came on to the live show, and when you were saying, and not last week, the week before, that, like, and you said he was leaning over the fence and shouting, like, that's when it was kind of like, it's not sustainable. Like, so I'm not sure.
I think they were playing Pats at home the week, it was last weekend, I think, and the night before there was big rumours of like Keegan handed in his resignation, and no one knew what the crack was with Filippo, and there was no statement from the club yet. And I think Filippo was there in the stands against Pats, but Jim, what's his name? Jim
McGilton.
McGilton, yeah. Took the game, and then in the post-match presser, he was like, there'll be a statement shortly about the situation, and then Filippo was like gone the next morning. So yeah, but the match I was at, Bows beat them 1-0. Like, I didn't expect him to be gone, but like, I was driving home and I was like, that situation can't go on. It's so fucked. Like, so yeah, be interested. There's been names thrown about the place. There's no kind of concrete name yet. So, but kind of a week on, I know, McGilton's kind of interim manager at the moment. But you'd like to think they'd have it sorted in the next week or 10 days. Just briefly, gave an interview to the Irish Mirror a few days ago, McGilton, and said, according to McGilton, CVs are flying into Oriel Park from across the world. I'm getting more phone calls than I've ever received in my life. Emails
from Melbourne.
yeah. Good point. Actually. Emails flying in from all around the world. Everything is getting filtered to the chairman and the directors. We're going through CVs. At the minute, it's like Postman Pat. Everyone's flying into me, and we've got to shift through it and sort it out. It sounds like they're getting like every Tom, Dick, and Harry's thrown in the CV to Oriel. But McGilton confirmed the next appointment would be a pro license holder to avoid the chaos of the past few months. So that's
you'd hope so. That's a good sign.
So it's a good sign. Their new manager will have like the basic credentials to do his job. He'll be allowed to stand on the pitch, like, at least or something. Fuck's sake.
I was kind of hoping to apply on LinkedIn there until you said pro license, but what
do we have? Kickstart 2, like.
Yeah, Kickstart 2. To be fair, I'd like to see Vinny back there. I just feel Vinny still has a lot to give in the game, and I just love listening to him like talk about football and off the ball and stuff. I think he definitely has a lot more to give in the game. So
he did.
Who knows where he could end up.
Last week, did he say he might be interested, or did he deny it? I couldn't remember.
He said he has a good relationship with the owners, and if they did call, he'd obviously talk to them about it. And he didn't. He said he had unfinished business at Dundalk, so it was interesting comments.
Yeah, definitely not biased that he used to manage Malahide United and we're all from Malahide. Yeah, no, I think it would be interesting now. I'm not sure if it'd be a bit of a weird one, him going back there after he had a bit of a falling out with the owners, but like, I wouldn't put it past. I think he still, like, as you said, he still has a lot to give. Got a few comments here. Troppy Tony might go there. Yeah, that would be a bit of a weird one. Yeah, the guy's in his 80s now. Like, I don't think he's coming back to Ireland anytime soon. Like,
the last thing Dundalk need is another Italian.
Yeah, Jesus. Well, at least this one has a bit more experience in coaching summer camps. To be fair, he probably has a pro license. Like, Ross has to go, but yeah, Ross is gone now. This is going to be a permanent thing now. No, Ross has to take the night off.
That's it.
Unfortunately, Neil Lennon.
That could be an interesting one.
Lennon, yeah. I don't know. Would he go there though? Like, did you feel like he go there? I reckon if he was going to go to anything, I seen he was linked with the Ireland job. If Stephen Kenny didn't get it, like, if Stephen Kenny was fired, he'd get it, like, which I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure if I'd be like completely. Like, as an Irish fan anyway, I wouldn't be like completely keen. I don't think he's a great manager personally. Like, I mean, but yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. Like, and also with young players and stuff, like, him and Kenny are completely opposites. Like, at Celtic, he gave no young players a chance. And then Kenny's like the complete opposite. Like, Kenny's bringing a load of young players. Like, so yeah, I don't know, a bit of a weird one. Like, all right, sorry. Anyway, get straight into the game week, lads. I have to try and figure this thing out. Like, so I keep forgetting that I'm the one actually like hosting the thing. Like,
where's Ross?
Yeah, usually Ross just talks. Like, all right, we got straight back into it.
Ross would have done about 6 likes stickers by this time. Like, so guys,
Super chaps.
Yeah.
if
By
you're
the way,
enjoying
lads,
the video,
if you can hit 60 likes, and if you're feeling generous, that's super chat. Just that wouldn't even go appreciated now. But yeah, whatever. Game week 6 anyway. There was 2 game weeks last week. Obviously on Tuesday and Friday, first game. Bows got. I thought the scoreline, to be fair, was a bit of a harsh reflection of how the game actually played out. Just my opinion. Bows had a real good shot. No, Pete Ward had a really, really good chance to make it 2-2. And he skied it wide, and then Sligo obviously scored again. Did either of you watch the game, lads?
I saw the highlights there with Keith Long on Friday. He said that the Rovers' performance was an improvement on the Sligo game, but in the post-match presser, he said we definitely should have got at least a point out of that game. The scoreline flattered Sligo a little bit. To score 3 goals at Dalymount is no mean feat, but Bows just need to start taking them chances in front of goal. They're creating them, no doubt, and we saw that on Friday in the derby as well. But they just need to put the ball in the back end of the net.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this game now was probably the best game of the weekend, really. I know it was a Tuesday, but very good game. Great advertisement it was great advertisement for the league. There were some cracking bits of play, movement. The game was end to end, really, from the kickoff. Both teams nearly scored straight away. And I believe I was the only one to go for a Sligo win here, so I was a bit happy with that.
Yes, that's what I'm going to get into now. Prediction tables this week, I'm going to preface this by saying it's not good for me again. I was trying to get a bit more risky this one to try and catch a few people out, and it backfired. So yeah, for this one, Bows, Ross. So for a Bows win, Socko, Ross, and Tig, I went for Bows winning. I went for a draw.
Christ.
And Liam, I went for an away win, so fair play, Liam.
He just bought the jersey, just because he bought the jersey.
Yeah, literally, lovely jersey, by the way. Absolutely magical jersey, Yes, the second one that we had, Derry versus Dundalk. This was the first game without Filippo in charge. Jim Magilton taking charge this one. Dundalk should have won, really. Macmillan scored a good goal pretty early on, I think. When was it? First half anyway, I think. And then Abibi again coming out trying to punch the ball.
What was he doing? What was he doing?
It's a howler game, man.
It's a clanger every game. I saw the goal, and I said it's about 3 or 4 yards between him and the ball. There's about 3 men in front of him, 2 of his centre backs right there to deal with it, and he just comes out, it almost clocks one of his centre backs in the face with the punch. Yeah, shocking. That was laid on as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was. I only saw the highlights, but man, oh my god, when I seen him come out and do that, it's literally a howler game. It's something you see out of Sunday League almost, But
what's the situation there? For the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been Cherry one game, Abibi the next. I think Abibi's lost his place at this stage. I think Cherry hasn't made a clanger so far. I don't think
you can't trust them. You can't trust them, can you?
No, and
so
there was glimpses of what Dundalk can do in that game. And obviously their new manager and everything like that. The goalkeeping is going to be, I think, a big topic for their whole season, because I think Gary Rogers is just such a huge persona kind of character in that camp, and you need a confident keeper kind of speaking to your back line. And when your keeper is making such clangers, it does not do your defence any confidence whatsoever. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where if they look for another keeper or what they do, because as you're saying, Cherry kind of hasn't made any mistake, but Abibi is kind of all over the shop at the moment.
It's so funny how the President's Cup, Charity Shield equivalent opener, he saved the winning penalty. I think he did dodgy enough 90 minutes and went straight to penalties. He saved the winning penalty, and I think he did a big kind of knee slide and then got loads of photos.
He was flexing with the cup.
Class.
Oh my god, man! Yeah, I don't get it, because it must have been, because I think Cherry started the last few games, and it must have been Magilton kind of coming in, taking over for a bit, and he must have gone, I'll give you a bit more faith, and even when he came out, like there was a load of people in front of him, and like it was crowded box. And he came out, he didn't even like, you know, sometimes a professional goalkeeper come out to punch it. He came out and kind of swung his hand at it. Like I was like, what is this geezer doing? Do you reckon in summer they'll have to buy a new keeper?
If Cherry turns out to be the same, which I can't imagine, like he's been at the club before, and I watched him against Bows. They were unlucky-ish to lose that game. Cherry didn't put a foot wrong, but I'd imagine by the summer, if the goalkeeper situation is said there's no nailed on number one, they'll definitely, and they have the money too as well, search for a new keeper.
Yeah, absolutely. So for that one, predictions again. So Tig went for a home win, so that's another one wrong. Me and Ross went for an away win, and yeah, you two both went for a draw, so that's another point for you two. Well done.
Easy money.
The only
easy
2 out
money.
of 5. Yeah, it's fair play.
From 2.
Next one we had Drogheda versus Shamrock Rovers. A late win at the death. This one Mandry scored. Yeah, Mandry scored in 95th minute. Pulling out the bag again. Yeah, I mean, the last stuff, what we were saying, it was a good header. It was a real good header, to be fair. But what we were saying, we'll get onto the Dublin Derby later on. But like, out of the last 3 games, like they could have potentially got not nothing, but maybe only 3 points out of 9 points, and they just managed to pull out like the 2 90-minute winners. Like, and then obviously we'll get onto the red card and all and the penalty. But like, they've managed to pull it out of the bag every single time. Like,
yeah, before the Dublin Derby, there was six games played. And in 4 of them, they had a goal in the last 10 minutes, either to like the winner or to equalise it. And the 3 of them, 4 were in the last 5 minutes. Like, absolutely insane. Drogheda there, Pats the late one as well. Like, absolutely unreal stuff. On one hand, I had a good chat with a mate of mine, Rob, about it. Rob's not too convinced. He says they haven't been playing great to the start of the season. So you could look at it that way, and then on the other hand, you could say, kind of, it's a good sign of champions. They always kind of pull a goal out of the bag. They're kind of patient. They're not throwing the kitchen sink at it. But I'd imagine they would ease a lot of fans' nerves if they were just like comfortably like 2-0 up and not 0-0 with Drogheda with 93 minutes to go. Like, yeah.
Yeah, from my point of view, you could literally just say what I said last week, pretty much, that it's just replay that video right here. But as I said in the group, chat, obviously in our WhatsApp or whatever, I was like, you could literally replace Fergie time with Bradley time this season, because they're just constantly coming up with last minute, late minute goals. They're just snatching it at the debt, really. So it's very interesting, and it is kind of, as we always keep going back to and referring to, is that it is kind of what makes a champion at the end of the season, like picking up 10 points. You only have to look at Liverpool over like winning the Premiership there. It is what makes champions at the end of the day, grabbing points that they really shouldn't be, and that game should be ending as a draw 0-0 really. So
yeah. Absolutely. So Rovers are getting rub of the green that all tight winning sides get, even when they're not playing well, they're still scrapping out wins. That's literally it. Out of the last 9 points that they've got, they could have potentially got none. Like, I flipped the other way, like, do you know what I mean? And that's going to make difference at the end of the season. Like, it comes down to those fine margins, really, doesn't it?
Super performance. Sorry, just lastly, super performance by Drogheda, like still 5th in the table. 2 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses. But like to hold the champions to a goalless draw 93 minutes in, like they'd be sick at the loss, but like at the same time, like kind of take a lot from the game, like that they can put up such good performance in front of the champions.
Yeah, no, Drogheda are a very decent side, to be fair. So our predictions got a point here because we all went for a Shamrock Rovers win. Be fair,
never
we were pretty close, close. So next one was Longford Finn Harps enthralling game. 0-0 with this one. To be honest, I mean, not much really to say about this one. Like, I didn't actually get to watch. I seen the highlights or lack of. I mean, to be fair, not much separate these two teams. To be fair, I don't think. Like, I think Finn Harps have had a very, very positive start to the season. Another clean sheet as well for them. Like, so, and Longford as well. Obviously, after conceding only a few weeks ago, conceding 4 against Strada. I think they kind of steadied the ship a little bit. They got a few points on the board, so they'll be happy enough.
A little bit, yeah. They'd want to lift themselves out of the relegation places kind of soon enough. But Finn Harp's absolutely flying at the moment, and a clean sheet and a point against them is like where Longford are at the minute. Like, you'd take that, I suppose, Darragh Doyle's side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think looking back at the game, I probably should have went for a draw, but I remember Ush convinced me to go for Finn Harps.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And probably a draw was probably a fair result.
Yeah,
and a good point for Longford as well, really, because Finn Harps have been flying. So
yeah. So for the predictions, I think Ross was the only one who went for a draw. Socko went against Finn Harps and he went for a Longford win. And the rest of us, Ty, me, and Liam, all went for a Finn Harps win. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Ush convinced us to go for a Finn Harps win there. So is what it is. Cool. On to the next one. Another team who've been absolutely flying. Top of the league. 2 wins in 1 week for St. Pat's. 1-0 against Waterford. They scored a really early goal. I think they scored a goal within 90 seconds. Dara Burns, a young fella, scored it was a decent goal as well. Very decent. But yeah, kind of problems for Waterford at this stage as well, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I was lucky to get into it, and like Pats, I was almost sat down, and then Pats took the lead. Great play down the right hand side, cut in, shot from outside the box. Took a little bit of a deflection, but it was always kind of going to trouble the keeper. And other than one shot, Waterford shot in the first half, they didn't threaten at all. You think at half time, Kevin Sheedy would kind of give them the kick up the hole and come out the second half like all guns blazing, and they just, I've never seen a team be more passive. And to be honest, it should have been 3 or 4. Pats had a goal cleared off the line in the first half and disallowed in the second half for a foul on the keeper. Is it Martin, the Waterford keeper, made a few outrageous saves, and it could have been 3 or 4, to be honest. But Pats are absolutely flying. They never look like conceding, always going to get the 3 points. But Waterford, they were dreadful, and they really, with the no fans there, you could hear every word the players were saying. On the last 15 minutes, the Waterford players were just not usually moaning, not like, oh, get back, or things you'd expect to hear on a football pitch. They were really what did the centre back keep saying? He was centre back kept saying to their midfielder, just use your fucking head, use your fucking head. That's stupid. Why would you do that? Use your head, come on.
Oh my God.
Really, really giving out to each other, and it showed me there's not a good atmosphere in that dressing room at the moment. There was big allegations in the few days after, that Kevin Sheedy, there was a training ground bust up, him and the assistant left. But the last 15 minutes, I was looking at Waterford and I was they're a shell of a team. Things are not going well for them at all. But Pats, on the other hand, full credit, absolutely flying. Stephen O'Donnell was very kind to chat to me after the game, and they're flying, top of the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't checked out the vlog that Socko did, make sure to go have a look at that on the channel. I'll hop straight back into this one as well, seeing as we're on the subject of Pats going away to Finn Harps and scoring 2. I've seen actually most of the game. Pats played really well. I thought Finn Harps, to be fair, didn't create any chances at all. Pats definitely, they were well worth their 3 points. Matty Smith scored one of the goals. I'll check now who scored the other goal. Billy King as well. Matty Smith looks a real good talent as well. I think Pats have a real decent side. Yeah. So this
Rob Benson, Ronan Coughlin, a really good side.
Yeah, I'm going to beg the question here, lads. Pats for the title? Is it, Because I've gotten the only reason I asked this as well is because we've had a lot of Pats comments. Yeah, we've had a good few people. Pats supporters commenting on the live stream as well the other day, saying Pats are going to win the league, and I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter. So what do you think, lads? No.
I still think it's Rovers personally, but I saw a tweet today. Thought it was very good. It was some fella went for a walk with his kid today. He obviously had a day off or whatever, so he went for a bit of a stroll in the good weather.
I've seen this, yeah.
And he was wearing a Pats jersey, and some other fella was coming the opposite way and was like, Pats for the top of the league or something, which is good to see. You know what I mean? Because Irish football, to me, doesn't get the recognition it deserves. But Rovers, I think, will win the league. I'm still confident Rovers are going to do it.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you as well. But I don't know, man. I think Pats will. It's no question in my mind anyway. Like, could come back to bite me now because every prediction I do is completely wrong. But I don't think. I think they will get. They should get top four. Like, they look a real decent side. They've surprised me. Like, I think the signs that they made, Gibson and Smith, look really good. Ronan Coughlin as well. Listen, I don't rate him that much, but I think he's been popping up for a few decent goals. Like, so I'm not sure if you just like you look at the quality that Rovers have in the squad depth, and like realistically, unless there's like a few major injuries and stuff and like a few setbacks, I just think that like even if like what we were just talking about, like Rovers just keep getting points from games they have no right to be getting 3 points from, really. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I won't be too sure. Like,
I've been lucky to see Pats against Rovers and then against Waterford on Tuesday, and like some of their pass and play is like 10 out of 10. Like movement off the ball, creating chances, getting into little pockets, like pass and move. They're drilled to within an inch of their lives, and just to watch that live, to get out of trouble and create transitions, like Stephen O'Donnell and Alan Matthews are doing something phenomenal there. Definitely in for a shout. Like, opening match of the season, they drew 1-1 with Rovers, and they played Rovers off the park at times. Rovers are pretty lucky to get that last minute equaliser. So definitely one to watch now in the next few months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. A few comments here. Pats are probably the best team we're putting up to Rovers. Still think it's Rovers' title. I think we'd all be inclined to agree. I think it's Rovers' squad depth. They just have way too much. Like even the players that they have coming off the bench. A few interesting comments coming in. Pats will bottle it. It is the last one there. Yeah. Back again, like death taxes and this fella turning up in the chat. Like, absolutely. Yeah, we'll move straight on back to Dundalk. Getting a 2-0. It was a 2-1 win against Drogheda. Consolation goal at the end for Drogheda as well. Like, I think Dundalk looked fairly good for their money. Like, I mean, it is kind of overdue at this stage. Like, I know, obviously, as we were saying as well, a big bounce back, like when you get rid of the manager. So yeah, you'd expect Dundalk. Like, I mean, 2 comfortable points. I think Macmillan scored again, because Macmillan scored his last 2. I think
great header.
Yeah,
and it was the Jungwoo, the Korean fella, scored again. Yeah. So not bad. Like, what do you think?
Great play down the left hand side. Lovely ball in for Macmillan's header. I saw bits and pieces at the game of the game, and yeah, it's amazing the difference like a kind of not a new manager bounce, but like a kind of fresh start can do. Dundalk look way more confident, playing with a little bit more freedom, and they kind of had a plan for the game. Like, they weren't just seeing how the first half will go and make like 4 substitutes on the hour mark, like we saw so many times, like they did against Bowes when Filippo was like crouching against the gate. So yeah, much needed win for them. And again, Drogheda like in a good place in the table, to just kind of lacking that little bit of something just against the kind of top 3 sides. Running Dundalk and Rovers close.
I kind of feel like, as you were saying there, Socko, that Filippo didn't really know what he was doing, and he almost kind of had the players kind of like caged up and kind of just so confused and even what to do, that they kind of lost that bit of spark and that creativity that, and even the quality that their squad really does have. To me, like, they probably have the second best squad in the league on paper now. So, and surely with the interim manager now in there, sure, I think we'll probably see the best of Dundalk in the next few weeks. Yeah,
absolutely. And just talk about that new manager bounce that we just mentioned, going on to Derry. Now, this was a big surprise to me. Like, I really didn't see them getting anything out of this. Like, Will Patterson scored a penalty. Sligo have been so good as well this season. Do you feel like Sligo are now kind of beginning to taper off? Or do you think that was down to Derry, like kind of new manager bounce? Like, because I do feel like even though Sligo have looked good, I do think like they're going to personally just like they might slow down a little bit. Like, I think they got against Bows, like obviously great win, but it could have gone either way. So I think at times this season they've been quite fortunate. Like, I think they're a very good side. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, this the one did surprise me though, all the same.
Yeah, savage like game for the league. Like Sligo going into it, only no losses in 6 games, and Derry like no wins in 6 games. Like, you put all your money on a Sligo win. But Derry going down there, picking up the 1-0 win, their first win of the season, like much needed. Classic cliche, like new manager bounce. Yeah, badly needed, and like 5 points, 10th place at the moment. Like, we're like 1 win and like a draw and a loss could bring them up to 5th. Like, so that's what I mean when I'm kind of saying. I know they picked up the points after Divine left, but like the League of Ireland can change so quickly. But yeah, it's a long season. So like, I think it's quite hard to read into the table now. Obviously, we know like Pats, Rovers are flying, but other than that, it's a bit hard to make conclusions off the table.
Yeah, I as you said, like, you would have put your house on Sligo winning that one, really. The form they were in. But overall, it is the bounce back effect, really, of Derry and the new new manager, really. Sligo, I didn't actually see the game, so I can't really commentate on how they're playing, but I'm sure they'll still kind of be up there from the end of the season, no doubt about it. But like, everyone beats everyone really in the league, bar Rovers, it seems, since they're still on that winning run, undefeated.
I'll tell you one guy that can comment on the game, Joey Indo.
I was just gonna say they got poor old Joey Indo as special guest. Lads, did you see that? I thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever watched. Like, honestly, I was pissing myself. Like, there's like little triangles going on, and he's like, oh my god, and all. I was like, absolutely, get this fella on every single week. Like, yeah, but a bit more excitement, I think, as well. Like,
yeah, definitely. I think. Sorry, go on.
No, I just think that sometimes, like, the commentary, like, this, no disrespect, like, but like sometimes the commentary in the League of Ireland can be a bit like, it's a bit dreary or something. Like, and I think it just adds a bit more, like, it adds, especially people who don't really like watch League of Ireland as such. They see like that on like on Twitter, and they're like, that is just brilliant. Like, you just have him just like commentating, absolutely loving it, like, because he just loves football. Like, I thought it was brilliant. Like,
yeah, a bit of crack, and that'll do class on like social media. They've put up a few good tweets about it. I think they put up TikTok as well. There's a great opportunity for like the League of Ireland to do kind of more stuff like that. Get League of Ireland like cult heroes on like that. It'll do really well, I think, and like, it's so funny. Like, yeah, like little lovely pass or lovely touch, and he was like, oh, like, so funny. Like,
loving it, like, absolutely loving it.
I have to. He was probably one of the greatest of all time League of Ireland players. Like, some of the clips, like, oh, he's just unbelievable. Like, you'd be doing what he was doing, like watching him nearly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was so good in the ball. Like, I mean, there's that one clip of him, like, when he's running down like the touchline and he flicks it up and like it goes behind his back. Like, oh man, it's absolutely sick. Like, but yeah, I do think like that kind of it brings a bit more like attention to League of Ireland almost, like, which is good. Like, which is that's all you want. Like, if they can kind of create something, like, because like, even if you look at the Premier League, I know it's a completely different level, like, but you look at like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, how big that is now. Like, if you had like something kind of similar enough in League of Ireland, obviously not at the same scale, but I think that would be great for the league. Like,
Roach and Sadler.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really have the same kind of like the pull. Like, but yeah, we'll go on to the next game anyway. Waterford beating Longford. I didn't watch this game, and the highlights still haven't came out because the FA are slow. But yeah, I think Waterford got a man sent off in the second half, but managed to hang on. They got an early goal. Big win for them, especially after Kevin Sheedy has all that kind of stuff which you had to come out and say, like, I'm still here, I'm not being fired yet. Like, so big for them to get 3 points on the board.
Yeah, it was weird, man. I think a supporters page put up the day after or last Wednesday that there was a training ground kind of bust up, and then I think it was Waterford FM said that like Kevin Sheedy's set to leave. Him and Mike Newell left the training ground and didn't take training, and then they had to come out and kind of refute all them allegations. So yeah, pretty topsy-turvy week for the club. But I suppose that win will put a lot of it to bed. Badly needed. Another loss for Longford. Like, not Darragh Doyle is kind of having a tough time with that at the moment after a pretty positive start. So yeah, Waterford kind of want to kick on now for the next few, because for the last few weeks they've been absolutely like dreadful.
Yeah, I haven't seen this game either, as you said. There's no highlights to be seen. I think it's about time really that Waterford kind of got a result, and I kind of feel like Longford are going to have that energetic start because they're only buzzing to kind of be in the Premier Division, and then they're going to kind of fall off, and it kind of seems like they're starting to a bit now. As much as I think Darragh Doyle is the right man for that job, like, there's no doubt about that. He's young, he's hungry, all that. But I still think Waterford could be in trouble this season. I just don't think they have enough quality, and getting rid of like two probably they're arguably their best players in Coote and Wilson really doesn't help their whatever their project is for this season and wherever they really want to get to. So I think they could be in trouble.
Yeah, even if you look at the likes like Sam Bone, who went to Pats, like, he was a good player. Matty Smith, who was there last year as well, looks real good for Pats. So yeah, I don't know, a bit of a weird one. I'll fly through these predictions as well because I completely forgot about them. I'm not going to lie. Got distracted talking about Pats going for the title. So yeah, for Pats 1-0 against Waterford, we all went for a home win, so that's a point on the board for everyone. Fair play, lads. Then for Finn Harp's Pats, where Pats won 2-0. I was the only one to get a point. I said that Pats would win. The rest of you said, I think, yeah. So Ross said there would be the Harps would win, and then Tig, Socko, and Liam went for a draw for Dundalk versus Drogheda. Me, Ross, and Tig all went for a home win, and Socko and Liam, you both went for a draw. For Derry, Sligo versus Derry, we all went for a Sligo win, so we all got no points there. Waterford versus Longford, then Socko, you eating your mic? Like,
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. All I could hear is chewing going on. Like. And then so for Waterford versus Longford, me and Ross went for a draw. Tig, Socko, Liam all went for an away win. None of us backed Waterford there, so none of us got a point. And now for the big one of the week, Shamrock Rovers 2, Bohemians 1. Now, a very controversial game. The obvious one, that penalty at the end. Like, Socko, you were at it. What you think? Take us through your thoughts.
First 20 minutes, Rovers looked kind of well in control. Got that early lead, and then when Bows equalised, they kind of grew into the game more. And the first half was totally, like I was saying to the lads earlier, totally like a basketball game. Like, it was just counterattack, one end to the other, like, non-stop. You couldn't really get a chance to breathe for a minute. Really, really exciting first half. And then the second half, Rovers kind of disappointing. They came out a little bit more slower, a lot more lethargic, like making silly passes, like losing possession really easily. Both should have took the lead. I think they hit the post. George Kelly had 2 good shots as well.
Yeah.
So I forgot to mention that in the first half, I think it was Aaron Green missed a huge chance right in front of goal. I think a half an hour in, and Liam Burt had a big chance to equalise. I think 10 minutes in, ball across the box, and he just kind of curled it wide. He was aiming for the far post. But Bows were well on top, like threatening on goal, well in control, up until the penalty, and the penalty, as you'd expect, just absolutely killed them. In my opinion, the penalty was kind of 50-50. It's never a red. not 50-50. I say the penalty was a tad harsh. Like you've seen them given, but no chance in hell that's a red card. Like yellow, you're going to give yellow because it's a penalty. No chance in hell that's a red card, and it killed Bows. They threw the kitchen sink in at the last 10 minutes, but Rovers just shut up shop. Never looked like conceding. Absolute sickener for Keith Long and Bows, haven't beaten Rovers since June 2019 now. I think it's 4 or 5 Dublin derbies winless now, and Rovers now 29 league games unbeaten, a new record, which is insane. But yeah, especially after all the Super League shite, I thought it was a savage advertisement for the league, live on RT2. Great game. The only thing that was missing was the fans, really. I would have given anything to seen the Bows fans and the Rovers fans when Danny Mandrew gets fouled for like the winning penalty. Like, you couldn't ride it.
Yeah, it would have been very interesting to see the fans in there and kind of see how Mandrew kind of got on with the pressure of it, obviously making that transfer. He would have been getting a lot of stick, I think, from the Bows fans. And I believe your friend was a bit iffy. Adam was a bit iffy on him actually at first, making the move, obviously. So he's starting to obviously grow on Rovers fans as well now, because he's starting to put in performances, find his fitness, so everything like that. I'm gone green again. Brilliant.
Incredible Hulk, like.
That's brilliant. Continue. You're fine. You support
but I'll just chat like this. Like last week, I was saying that pretty much I thought Mandrew might score, but he obviously, you know what I mean, he did play a big part in the end, and I don't think Griff was too happy about the penalty. I don't think it's one of them penalties that could go either way. I feel it's never a red card though. Never a red card though. Never. Like,
yeah, to be honest, it's hard to you expect what each manager is going to say after the game. Like, I was lucky to speak to Keith Long, Stephen Bradley after the game. Stephen Bradley said, "Yeah, Stonewall penalty," and Keith Long said that's never a penalty. But if it was the opposite way around, they'd be saying the opposite things. Like Dublin Derby league table, you're going to take whatever you're given and move on.
I'll tell you this, lads. I was absolutely fuming. Like, I never thought. I genuinely, man. I thought it was such a I knew it was going to be Mandrew as well. We said it last week. We said it in predictions. We were like, this guy's going to score. And to be honest, man, he didn't score, but he might as well have scored because he killed the game. Like, when Finnerty got sent off, like Bows aren't getting back in. Like 2-1 down against Rovers, they're not going to score. But there's no denying he is quality. He's a quality player. Which is the annoying thing. And it was just written in the stars, wasn't it? Like, just coming back against Keith Long, obviously kind of froze him out towards the end of last season, and then scoring or getting the penalty. Like, I never ever thought it was a penalty, to be honest with you. I thought he got his hand across him, like as you would, but in the midfield, if that happened in midfield, you wouldn't blink an eye. And it's just because it was a penalty, he's felt the contact, he's gone down. And as for the red, that's just shocking decision. Like, you need VAR in the LOI, but I didn't agree with it, to be honest with you. I thought the ref panicked. Like, I think because as soon as he seen him down, I think the ref just panicked and flung
the red card was really, really.
It was so quick.
When you say a straight red, it was like he was there and he showed it straight away. I think Keith Long did say that the referee kind of panicked. He asked the fourth official for an explanation. I don't think he got it. By the time I talked to him, but I thought Graham Burke and Liam Scales were 10 out of 10 for Rovers, and Pico Lopez. Like, if I had €1 for every big fuck off challenge he put in the first half, you could hear it from where I was sitting. Like, there'd be 50-50 ball, he'd fly in. He has to be, if not the best centre back in the league. Like, he was brilliant. Thought Sean Hoare, Alan Manis kind of didn't put a foot wrong as well. A great game for the league, but God, that was a controversial ending.
Yeah, it had to be him as well. Out of all the players, just so annoying. Griff was absolutely bullying on the live. Oh, fuming! I just couldn't believe it. Oh, I couldn't believe it. That's the thing. I knew it was going to happen. Just typical, man. Absolutely typical. Does Liam support Rovers? You answer that question, Liam.
Which Rovers is this?
Nice.
No, I'm a neutral fan, and I support the players. Because the players seem to move from every team in the league. So I'm a fan of the players.
Yeah. Yeah. Football's the winner, as always. So yeah, moving on from that absolutely depressing site, we're going to go to look at the prediction table, which for me is an even worse site. Pretty close up the top. Ross on 20, Tig on 19, Liam and Socko both on 18, and Griff absolutely stinking down the bottom at 13. Oh my god, like I'm in the relegation zone at this point. Like, I mean, you can wave that 500 quid away. Like, I mean, I'm not getting it. Like, absolutely shocking.
It's a long season.
Yeah, but I mean, 5 points. It's a big gap right now.
How do you start doing your predictions and you get the sack?
Yeah. Oh my god, gonna hire Robbie Keane to do my predictions now instead of me. Like,
there's rumors about Griff now. He just didn't take training today. He's gonna leave. Like,
no, instead of me doing the predictions, I have my younger brother leaning over the fence shouting the predictions at me, like, Filippo spec, like. All right, so we'll move on to this week's games. A few decent games going on. First one we'll look at Drogheda versus Sligo. How did you see this one going, boys?
see, like, usually, yeah.
I think it's probably a tough one as well, because Sligo obviously like losing their last one against Derry, wasn't expecting that. Like, so
it is, yeah. Like Sligo, you wouldn't expect them to lose last weekend. Drogheda still fifth, could do with a win. You probably say a draw, but like it could go either way. I suppose that looks like a very good game, to be honest.
How about you, Liam?
For me, it's actually a very hard game to call because Drogheda are at home. Obviously, they've been very hard to beat. Like Shamrock Rovers only got a last-minute winner against them. It could go either way. Probably go down the middle though for this one.
You're going playing it safe. Is that 2 draws? Then you went for a draw as well, Soccer, did you?
Go for Drogheda win. Go for
Drogheda win. Oh, that's an interesting one. Yeah. Okay, so Liam going for a draw. Ross went for a draw. Tig went for a Sligo win. I think I'm going to play it neutral. I'm going to go for a draw as well in this one.
Can I change it to Sligo then, can I?
No, locked in final answer. You're coming down with me? Absolutely not. Next one, Pats versus Longford. Be a good game. Well, I don't know. You expect Pats to win this, I feel like. I mean,
100%.
Longford kind of, even after they had a decent enough start, they kind of dropped off, like haven't been picking up too many points. So personally, I'd go for a home win. What about you?
Yeah, probably the same. Pats are absolutely flying. Like on Tuesday night, the best football I've seen played in a long time. They could have hit 3 or 4 past Waterford. So, can't see. Record this now. Clip me for when Longford beat them away from home. But you can't see anything but a Pats win.
Yeah, I think it's a Pats win. Really, there's not much to say. I just think Pats are flying. I do think Pats will eventually start to drop a few points, maybe pick up a few more draws and stuff like that. But has to be Pats on this one. It's probably a full house, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go for it as well. Like, I don't think you cannot back fucking Pats in this one. Then Tig and Ross also went for a home win. But yeah, I mean, at this stage, I wouldn't be surprised if Longford gets something because we all bet for them.
Yeah.
Next one, Bows versus Derry.
That'd be a good game now.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting one because obviously Bows coming on the back, they'll be very disappointed that they didn't get anything from Dublin Derby against Rovers. And then Derry, like new manager bounce. Listen, we've said it a fair few amount of times tonight, but new manager bounce. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, obviously, Bows obviously sick after that Dublin Derby loss. Kind of want to put that right against Derry. Derry kind of shite start of the season, but picking up that win, surprise win last week. God, that'd be a good game. I think just from Friday night, like Bows played Rovers off the park at times and should have really took the lead in the first half and the second half. Two big misses. Probably go for Bows win. Put me down for Bows win.
I think this has the makings of a great game, really. It's like, I don't know, Bastien Harry and Dawson Devoy, I don't know what's happened really with them. I think I'm going to go for a draw here. I think Derry will still have that new manager effect, really, and I'd say Griff's going to go for Bowes. So
yeah, no, you predicted right. Yeah, no, I think Bowes should win this. To be honest, I do think, even though Derry obviously beaten Sligo their last game, excuse me, Jesus, I'm dying here live on YouTube. Like, yeah, no, I do think Bowes played well. Probably at times of the game, Socko, you agreed as well. They're the better team against Rovers. And I don't know. I do think they have better quality than Derry, so I'm going to go for a Bowes win. That was the same as Ross and Tig also went for a Bowes win. So Liam, you're the odd one out. You went for a draw, which means you probably will get it right. Because it's usually how it goes in this. Like, the majority of us go for a result, and someone else just gets it. Like, but yeah, it'll be a good game, I feel. This one as well. Harps versus Rovers. Rovers travelling up to Bally Buffet. Be a tough one, man. I mean, tough's away day in the country. So yeah, so yeah, I think this would be an interesting one. What do you think?
Ooh, I think there could be an upset on the cards for this one. I was chatting to a Rovers mate of mine, and he's kind of not overly, obviously at the top of the league, but he's not overly impressed performance-wise about their start of the season. Obviously, it's great getting a load of late winners, but you kind of don't ideally want to be in that position in the first place. Harps kind of stuttering a little bit, but still kind of up around fourth or fifth. I'm going to say a draw. I kind of feel like there's an upset on the cards.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I think going up to Donegal is always going to be a tough place to go.
We have to say it at least 3 times every live show. Like,
if you say it 3 times, a ghost appears.
Yeah, Ollie Horgan appears in the mirror behind you.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously Rovers aren't. I'm still obviously they're not convincing to watch Rovers at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to go for a draw here. Finn Harps, I think, might nick a point off them.
That's interesting, lads, that you've both gone for a draw. Like, I don't think Tig and Ross went for an away win. I'm going to go with them. I think even though Tarps are a decent side, they surprised me as well this season, to be honest, with how good they've been. Like, Socko, you as well, seeing as you had them tipped to go last. Like, but I think they surprised us all.
I have no friends in Donegal.
Absolutely not. But yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go for a Shamrock Rovers win. I just think they have enough quality, really. Like, yeah, probably one of the best things in the league. And talking of jerseys, where is the Harps jersey, Socko?
There's nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. If we hit 60 likes, I'll give you an update. There we go.
It doesn't say anything. Like, doesn't say anything. Give us an update every single week, and there's no update to be had. Like, this fella, man, you'd be a great politician. Like, dodging the question.
I think everyone in government buildings is working as hard as they can, and it's a tough virus. It's tough for a lot of people, you know. But let's just keep going. Yeah. Griff, the next game there, actually.
Yeah, just moving swiftly on. Swacco's sweating here. Like, last game of the week, Waterford versus Dundalk. Yeah, I'd personally back Dundalk for this. But that said, I wouldn't put my house on it. I think it could be a tight game. Tigers went for a draw in this, and Ross went for an away win. Dundalk win. So what are you going for?
Ooh. 2 clubs were kind of 2 funny manager situations at the moment. Like, big questions about Kevin Sheedy and Dundalk is still yet to name their new manager. Jim McGilton in temporary charge. That's an interesting one. I'll go for Dundalk win. I do think they have bags of quality over Waterford. Waterford on Tuesday were absolutely dreadful in every part of the pitch, so put me down for a Dundalk win.
Yeah, I'm not going to stray too far off from Socko. I just think they have more quality, and when I've seen Waterford this season, they've been absolutely dire to watch. So I think Dundalk will be the better team and get all points here.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree as well. I think Dundalk probably, well, they're the better team in quality. I think as well, after beating Dundalk or Drogheda 2-1, getting some confidence, getting some points on the board finally. So yeah, I think it's a squad to prove. They have to prove themselves as well. Like new management coming in, like everyone's going to be vying for a place in that squad. And even what you were saying, Sacco, like just like the Waterford, they just seem a bit all over the shop. Like it doesn't really seem like it's a proper team as such, really. Like not yet, anyway.
They like I can't stress to you enough how much they were, how just I got such a bad feeling about the team. Like the last 15 minutes, you think you throw the kitchen sink at it, try get an equalizer. You've nothing to lose. Like you're already kind of going to lose the game, and they were just bitching and moaning at each other. And yeah, what did their centre back keep saying? Like, just use your fucking brain. Like, it was so funny to see. So yeah, kind of obviously getting that win last week, but yeah, Waterford are kind of big improvements needed there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, moving on from that anyway, lads. So I don't know, it's going to be a few interesting predictions next week. So hopefully I'll get a few points on the board. We'll have a quick look at this. Underage football is returning soon. Just looking at quick, like Ross wanted me to talk about this for a bit, just the consequences potentially. Like you have like almost a year without football, young players without football, really. Like obviously, I mean, I play football myself, overage, and I haven't really been playing. I've played like a few games on and off, and I'm not playing at a high level now. But you do even feel when you go down to the Astro and you're kicking a football around, like you do feel out of practice. Like, so do you think there could be, consequences? You have players who are like in there kind of, 12, 13, 14, going to academies, might be getting trials in England or something. Do you think will have an effect in the future? Do you think it'll be looking at consequences? Possibly.
I think like a lot of clubs, if you're at the like top league of Ireland, like underage teams, they'd be on like fitness plans, weekly nutrition fitness plans. So they'd be kept in good nick, and obviously it's up to the player to adhere to that. So I don't think fitness would be an issue, but like you can't replace training and high intensity training and matches. So yeah, it'll definitely take a while to. We saw in the Premier League, like just after when games started back, like there was some mental scores and a few teams were way off it. Like we saw it in the League of Ireland too, like kind of Dundalk dropped off loads and Bows dropped off. So yeah, it'll definitely take a while, and I think injuries will be a big one too. Like I think we saw more hamstring injuries in the Premier League last season than like ever before. So I do think they need to be eased into it, but from a mental health point of view, like it'd be absolutely huge. And just the few kickabouts we've had with one or two of the lads, it's so important. Like it does you the world of good.
Yeah.
For me, I feel underage football, it won't really, for me as a kid and stuff, playing out on the street, kicking a ball, that's kind of when you learn your trade. Like, and even looking at like Phil Foden, he's come out and said publicly that that's when that's where he's learned the most football, really, just playing out on the street. I think kids will never stop playing out on the street, kicking a ball, I think it might have more of effect on like senior setup. So like it's kind of like over 16 and stuff like that, when fitness does come into a big issue. It will be it is an interesting one. It is an interesting question, but for me, yeah, it is. I'm kind of looking forward to the senior setup getting back. Obviously, hopefully go back to football myself. It is interesting, and then obviously the academies and stuff like that, because they've been stopped as well over in England, even here. It will be an interesting one, but I don't think for the most part that underage football will have that much of a downfall, really, because to me, you can kick a ball anywhere. Like, you know what I mean? You can always increase your skills, even if it's in the back garden, even in your room. Like, you know what I mean? I know you shouldn't be playing football in your room, but it can be fun. Like, you know what I mean? Kids always find a way to do what they want and do what they enjoy. So, for the most part now, I don't think it will be that detrimental, really.
Yeah,
being
I'd
offered
be,
that.
I'd be tempted to agree with you as well. The seeing is like, as you said, like when you're younger, maybe when you get to like 16, 17, it might be an issue because when fitness comes involved and like you start getting injuries. But when you're a kid, like it doesn't really like you're still going to be running around. Like, and obviously, man, as you said, spot on. Mental health, man. Honestly, I think underage football for everyone, like for like even when I like as Socko said as well, getting back out and being able to kick football around with the lads, like it makes a world of difference. Like, being able to get out the gaff, like so. Yeah, hopefully, good omen of things to come anyway. Move on, just a few Irish players abroad. One that's been in the news quite a lot this week is Caden McLaughlin, the young lad. He's signed from Malaga, went to Villarreal, signed a professional deal with Villarreal. I think that's two lads we have abroad in Spain because we have John Joe Patrick Finn as well and him. So we could have a bit of we could have a bit of kind of like Xavi and Iniesta kind of thing in a few years, like. But love to see it. Any of you see any of that? Did you?
I just saw it on social media briefly. I haven't really seen clips of him play, to be honest. But everyone I've seen has spoken really highly of him.
Yeah, I've seen obviously social media bits and stuff, and him signing his first professional contract. I believe he's captained underage and scored against England, I believe, as captain. So it is an interesting one. I believe his mother is from Finglas as well, but he's been brought up over in Spain his whole life. So, and there's a weird, like, you never really see. Well, I haven't really seen until like recently, not like foreign players kind of going through the Irish setup at a young age. Like, you obviously see them at like under 21s and stuff, but obviously there's, I don't know if you know him, Connor Ross or Noss, Connor.
Yeah, Connor Noss for Mönchengladbach, yeah.
German-born player. Then there's obviously John Joe over down in Spain as well. So it is good to see that there's kind of this progression, really, that we're willing to take players on. I'll always have my doubts on whether these will actually, at the end of the day, actually kind of just using our setup. I feel at some points, like, obviously we've had a very bad past with it. So I'll always have my doubts on that, in my opinion. So, yeah, it is good to see Irish players going abroad because, like, Brexit and stuff. And I don't think the English just seem to turn their noses down at Irish players, really. So it is good to see players kind of looking at different options other than the English leagues.
Definitely to know, like, England isn't the be-all and end-all. Like, we've looked at those two players in Spain and what's his name, Josh Cullen, doing tremendously at Anderlecht, and a few other players as well in kind of Central Europe. And it's good to know that, like, if you don't make it in England, Jack Burnett, Applewell as well, if you don't make it in England, like, your career's not over. Like, there's other options there.
Absolutely,
yeah, definitely. No, that's I agree with you as well, Liam. It kind of feels like it's like you've had like a boyfriend or a girlfriend who's cheated on you loads of times, and they're telling you, "I'm not going to cheat on you. I swear to God, this time." Like, you have trust issues now with these players that they're not gonna, when England come knocking or Spain come knocking or whatever, they're gonna be like, yeah, we'll use them instead. Like, so, serious trust issues. But on a more brighter note, getting away from that, this young lad, Andrew Omaba Midile, has been balling out for Norwich, been doing really, really well. Won again on the weekend. So yeah, we just begs the question, really, like, Norwich been really, really solid this season. I mean, kind of perennial title winners at this stage. Like, do you reckon they'll stick with them? Because obviously you've seen Darragh O'Shea coming up with West Brom last season. Really positive. He's been playing pretty well for West Brom, even though they're a poor team overall. Like, so you'd love to see him getting in. He's only 18. Like, do you reckon they're going to stick with him, or do you think they might try and upgrade a more experienced centre half?
Liam, you probably watch a little bit more of the Championship.
It's rough. I think he'll be kept in the squad. I don't think he'll be thrown in the deep end straight away. I still think he has the chance of being the best Delhi in the Premiership next season. But I think he might be like a backup kind of rotation. Could be a Carabao Cup kind of player. I think putting a player in straight in the deep end, obviously Norwich will want to stay up as well. I can kind of see them recruiting more experienced, maybe even like a Janssen or something like that off Brentford or something like that. I could always see something like it is a hard one because I obviously want the Irish players to do well because we've with Sheffield United we've lost a few going down. Seems like a conveyor belt really. Every season we lose some come back up. But yeah, I think an experienced player will definitely be coming in at Norwich to kind of shore things up at the back.
Yeah, and you'd be like, to be fair, even though he's played so well, you don't want to really be throwing an 18-year-old in the Premier League because ultimately, like, there are levels, and Norwich are a very, very good side as well. So there is that kind of question that is he being, even though by all accounts he's been playing really, really well, it's the kind of question, is he being kind of sheltered a bit because he hasn't been really exposed to like a higher level. So it's going to be an interesting one next year, but I'd say he'll definitely be in and around the squad.
He's centre back, isn't he? You said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the next Shane Duffy. I think we should build him up. Put him on a pedestal. He is the next Ireland captain, and if he doesn't make it in 6
No
months,
pressure.
forget it. Nah, I'll do what the English do and fucking like build up their players to high God.
It is good that he kind of has a few clean sheets coming into the Premiership, which will do his confidence a world of good, really. But yeah, I can't see him being week in, week out in the squad.
Yeah. I'd be surprised. Just rush through one or two of these comments. My laptop's on 3% and I left it downstairs, so I'm going to rush through the end of this. I'm not going to lie to you. More under 18 players will sign for European teams now because of Brexit. Yeah, you'd imagine 100%. So. Definitely. And I think it would be good as well, especially good for Irish players. Like, you see like a lot of kids who go abroad getting experience, come back very mature, like, because, you know, they've been away from home from a young age. Like, I once DM'd Caden McLaughlin ages ago to come to Bowes, and he heard me. Yeah, I mean, Valencia and Bowes, like, I mean, kind of different levels. Yeah, so people, if the Brexit rule, yeah, there's a Brexit rule, which means you have to play a certain percentage of your national teams.
Good point.
Yeah, so it's good to see lads going to places like Spain. The last person I'm going to run through here is the one and only Wesley Houlihan. What
a player.
Cambridge need one win from their last two. They actually had a chance on the weekend to go up, but they lost against Stevenage. Had a good chance, but they need one from two. Lads, is there any chance of them getting back in the Ireland squad?
I take him.
He's 38. He's 38.
I take him. The guy gave me one of the best moments of my life watching Ireland score against Sweden in Paris, and I met him in a pub beside Croke Park, and he was very nice to me. So based on that, those two critical pieces of information, I'll take him. I'll take him.
For me, he's given me my most memorable football memory ever. Obviously, Ireland, the Italy, the Euros. I've seen grown men cry in front of me when that ball to Brady. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd have stick him on last 20. Why not? Like, you know what I mean?
Do a job.
So,
do a job.
Absolutely, Ireland legend. And listen, he's only 38. He's still got another 20 years in him. Yeah, lads. Yeah, absolutely. Gonna rush through the end of this because my laptop's on 1%. Like, I definitely should have prepared in advance. I'm not Ross McGuire. But yeah, lads. Yeah, if you drop a super chat, by the way. Yeah, no. But honestly, lads, thank you so much for joining me. It's not my host. Thanks for us all being together. Like, don't join me. It's my channel. But yeah, lads, everyone in the chat, if we can hit 60 likes, that would be great. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. That would be brilliant. Lads, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.